But I say unto you, I will not drink henceforth of this fruit of the vine, until that day when I drink it new with you in my Father's kingdom. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth, as it is in heaven.
We're living in a time we're gonna meet Yahweh Shai. You're gonna meet him face to face, which is proof also that we have to be changed. We can't meet the Lord like this. He's gonna change you, he's gonna crown you, and he's gonna toast with you. Sometimes when Akim are among each other, we'll do little small toasts. Brothers may be like La Yashirala, holding up cups. But imagine the Lord himself hosting it, man. And we join in. And I was reading something else, and pretty much they said in order to have what they call a loyal toast, you would use wine. That's the beverage of choice. And once again, our Lord, he's coming back. And we're going to see him with all that power, man. But he's going to extend that power to you.
The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God. And if children, then heirs of God, and joint heirs with God. If so be that we suffer with him, that we may be also glorified together. I reckon that the sufferings of this present time are not worthy to be compared with the glory which shall be revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creature waiteth of the manifestation of the sons of God. For the creature was made subject to vanity, not willingly, but by reason of him who hath subjected the same, in hope, because the creature itself also shall be delivered from the bondage of corruption into the glorious liberty of the children of God. But we know that the whole creation groaneth and travaileth in pain together until now. And not only they, but ourselves also, which have the first fruits of the Spirit, even we ourselves groan within ourselves, waiting for the adoption, to wit, the redemption of our body.
And once again, when our Lord returns, he's going to wield that power to you elect as well. Once again, he's going to change you, he's going to crown you, and he's going to have a toast with you. A kingly toast, which will basically be a celebration for victory over the beast, victory over this system, victory over Edom Rome coming back, and Edom Rome's mark, which will be that Karag. So we're going to celebrate with our Lord Yahweh Shai, and honestly, there is no telling what all he has in store for us.
Drink ye all of it, for this is my blood of the New Testament.
All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples to his younger brothers, and peace and blessing and salutation to the hopeful elect out there pushing his word and truth and in sincerity across the four winds in the name of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, pushing to get up out of here. Shalom to the hopeful elect, the believers, the listeners, whom have came back to the obedience of the scriptures through faith in Yahweh Bashim Shai. All right, and what I want to get into this morning, dealing with the morning news and prophecy, how everything is moving, all right, in their way, okay, of chaos, civil unrest, okay, the famine of the word, the persecution of the prophets, okay. So we're, watching the devil, on the move, okay, as the scriptures say. Let's get a few precepts. All right, and I got a few videos I want to get into, and the devil, is very busy as of late, okay, because he know he have but a short time, all right, So we're going to see the devil all over the place, pulling out all the stops, okay, to forward, okay, his new world order agenda. Okay, we're in the time, all right, where the devil, all right, 2025, he has hit the ground running, okay, and he has made leaps and bounds, okay, towards, okay, this system that he wants to set up, okay. Now let's go here first. This is the book of Isaiah, okay, chapter 62. All right, we start at verse 6. All right, it's the book of Isaiah, chapter 62, and verse 6. It says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of the Lord, keep not silence. Okay, so what you're going to see is the left hand increases in their activity. The Lord has put the spirit on his prophets, to speak more on these things, man. Okay, the Lord has set a watchman, okay, for his people. All right, to let, all right, the church know where we stand, where we at. Okay, and this thing is going into the next phase. Okay, expect things to change. All right, expect, all right, new normals in the earth. Okay, because what we're seeing daily is a build up. All right, to the tribulation spoken of. All right, in Daniel, okay, in the book of Matthew, we're seeing the build up to that tribulation. Okay, and things are speeding up. You see, so let's go from there. Um, let's get this in the book of Matthew. All right, and see, this is why the Lord set up prophets, okay, to constantly remind, all right, the body, okay, of the times we're in, okay. Now, this is Matthew 24 and 32. It says, now learn a parable, okay, of the fig tree. When his branches yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. Okay. So just like, you can look at, the trees, whether, the leaves are turning colors, fall coming in. Okay. Or as you see, things begin to sprout and bud, that spring and summer is coming in. All right. Well, this is how we have to be in the spirit as we see, the signs, all right, happening in the earth. Okay. And we relate it and filter it through prophecy. We know where we at. Okay. And this devil, all right, he's booting up to come down with great wrath. Okay. He's finna make war with the remnant, as it says in Revelation, the 12th chapter. Okay. So, yeah, that's a good one too. Let's get this one from the brother. All right. This is the book of Romans, chapter 13 and 11. All right. This is the brother Kazak Bun Yahawada. It says, and then knowing, all right, the time that now is the high time to awake out of sleep. Okay. And a lot of our people, they're still under the enchantments of the devil. Okay. Because if you're not in the truth, you're asleep. This woke, all right, culture, okay, pushed by Esau is a fake woke culture. Okay. Because our people are more enchanted than ever. All right. But it's a time to wake out of simplicity, man. Calling yourself a Democrat, Republican, African American. Okay. It's time to wake out of their simplicity, man. Okay. Christianity or whatever our people is into, it's time to wake out of their simplicity, man. And the Lord still has his prophets warning, okay, as we're going into this time of tribulation, man. The doors of mercy are still open. Okay. But hey, it's time to snap out of it, man. Because going into this time with no hedge, I'm completely unprotected, man. Okay, it's gonna be bad. It said, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believe. So now salvation is nearer than when we believe. Okay. Hey, then now we have to understand that, like Apostle Hart says, you can say we're months away, we're months out. You know, whether it's 12 months, 36 months, 40 months, 28 months, or just throwing some, numbers out. No one knows the time, of course. Okay. But we're near. You can link this thing to months now. Okay, because time is moving so fast, things are happening so quick. Okay, it's not gonna take long to implement the MOTB. It took a while. It took decades to get the infrastructure right, but it's not gonna take nothing but a 10-second announcement to make it mandatory. Okay, when these nations go to war, it's not gonna take long for this thing to go from conventional to nuclear. Okay, it's civil unrest when you have a certain event that can happen, which, hey, the atmosphere is being set up for that to happen. It's not going to take long for it go from protest to, all right, civil war. Okay, and we're going to go into how the atmosphere is being set for that. Okay, and it says, reading again, Romans 13:11 says, and then knowing the time that it is now high time to awake out of sleep, for now is salvation nearer than when we believe. Okay, so we're here. We're the doorsteps, man. Okay, we're the doorsteps. All right, of the Lord getting ready to make His move. Okay, and He's putting the spirit on this devil. Okay, to make His move. You see, so let's go from there. Because I got quite a few videos I want to go into. We're going to jump around. All right. So let's start off here. Okay. Because what you have now is the government, the American government is waging war, all right, against its citizens. Okay. And this whole thing that we're hearing now with Antifa, see, we haven't, Antifa, we haven't heard Antifa in a while. Okay. But this is just a banner. Okay. This is just a category, okay, that the government can use, okay, to deem people what? A threat. Okay. So he's pushing propaganda with Antifa, okay, to be what? A local terrorist, domestic terrorist, man. Homegrown terrorist, the enemy within. Okay. And if he can put a name on it, all right, and put you within that name, okay, under the banner, he can link, what you believe under the banner of Antifa. Well, okay, well, he can handle you in a different way. Okay. He doesn't have to handle you like a citizen with rights. Okay. He can handle you as a threat to national security. Okay. So let's play this. All right. And we'll jump around.
We begin today's show with the war on Antifa that the Trump administration's ratcheted up in the aftermath of the conservative activist Charlie Kirk being assassinated last month. Yesterday, President Trump posthumously awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom to Charlie Kirk at a ceremony in the White House Rose Garden. Trump recently signed an executive order purporting to designate Antifa as a domestic terrorist organization, even though it's not really an organization. Antifa is actually a shortening of the term anti-fascist and is a term that arose in Europe for the movement against the Nazis both before and after World War II. The decentralized movement in the U.S. today draws on this history. Some Republicans have accused this Saturday's No King's Day protests of being organized by Antifa. General Pam Bondi said last week the administration will take the, quote, same approach to Antifa as it has to drug cartels it's bombed in the Caribbean.
So it said they're going to take the same approach to Antifa as drug cartels that they bombed, okay, in the Caribbean. And you see, you got to listen to what these devils are saying, man. They sitting on these panels and they come up with these, this propaganda, and you see, that's not no light thing, man. The Antifa, all right, will be treated, okay, like the cartels that they're bombing. Okay, this devil is ready to take it there, man. Things are getting ready to change. All right. And America, all right, and America, all right, civil life is finna change. There's finna be new norms. Okay. And this is the Lord bringing judgment because this is what America has done. See, America finna bring the act back home. Okay. It's like this. Let's say your father was a, you know, he was a rock star. Okay. And he leaves the house and goes on tour. So you see him traveling all throughout the world, putting on his show. Okay. And you're at home, viewing the show. Okay. But then he comes to the house. Okay. And he throws a concert in the house. Okay. Well, this is what America is getting ready to do. All right. For the longest, the American people have been able to see their American government go on a world tour and just devastate all these other countries. Okay. And now they're bringing that act back home. So the way that they demonize ISIS and, these different terrorist groups that they fund and that they finance, okay, Al Qaeda, all right, let's say ISIS, Iraq, okay, Vietnam, Korea, the way that they go throughout the earth, okay, and demonize, all right, these certain groups and then wages war on those groups. Well, now they're bringing that act back home, okay? The American government is going to perform in America, okay? So the wickedness that they've done abroad, they finna bring that back here, all right? And you're seeing the same tactics, man. Okay, they have to create a boogeyman. Okay, just like they did with Bin Laden, Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi. Okay, Kim Jong Un. Okay, they have to create the boogeyman. Okay, before they make their move, so they can be looked at as the hero. Okay, and we're seeing the beginning phases of it, of what they're doing with Jake. All right, because what Trump is being praised as a hero for what he's doing in DC. Okay, what he's doing in Memphis. Jake is like, oh, thank you so much, Trump. The kids can ride the bikes again. Not understanding this is just phase one of an all-out war, especially against the tribes. Okay, so they're telling you that they want to treat Antifa, which is, a anti-fascist. Okay, when America was supposed to be set up, okay, well, for freedom of speech, right to assemble, okay. But now what we're seeing is they're bringing in a new order, okay, and Americans are going to find out, all right, through judgment, through death, okay, that they don't have no rights anymore, okay. So let's play this some more.
This is Bondi on Fox News last night.
And that's one of the things about Antifa. You've heard President Trump say multiple times, they are organized, they are a criminal organization, and they're very organized. You're seeing people out there with thousands of signs that all match, pre-bought, pre-put together. They're organized and someone is funding it.
So because they have signs and t-shirts to match their threat to the American government. Okay, here it is. America has, this great military, but people with signs and matching t-shirts, okay, are a threat to national security, man. And these devils just get on these TV and lie. Okay. Pam Bundy and all these different, Stephen Miller, Pete Hegseth, you get familiar with these devils, okay, after a while, man. Okay, and all they do is just lie. Okay, but the simple believe every word. Where brother can post it in Proverbs 14. Okay, how the simple, okay, believe every word. Okay, and these devils are all about, all right, deception. All right, Once they get the masses to believe a lie, they go with they move. Okay, this is how this devil operates. All right, so let's play this some more.
This comes as Los Angeles County officials voted Tuesday to declare a state of emergency over ongoing federal immigration raids they say have, quote, caused widespread fear, unquote. Violent attacks by federal agents at protests against immigrant raids have also been documented in Chicago and Portland. On Tuesday, Republican House Speaker Mike Johnson said if he would call for more oversight of federal agents. He responded by complaining about a naked bike ride protest against ICE in Portland, Oregon, which Trump has called a war zone.
To demand oversight on federal law enforcement? Well, I've not seen them cross the line yet, and that we have committees of jurisdiction who have that responsibility, but it's not risen to that level. What I've seen is the abuse of law enforcement by radical leftist activists. Most recently, the most threatening thing I've seen yet was the naked bicyclers in Portland who were protesting ICE down there. I mean, it's getting really ugly.
Experts are increasingly raising concerns that.
So he's saying, look, I don't see, all right, federal, officers, doing too much. But he is like, look, these protesters, they're becoming a threat. They're beginning to obstruct, these ICE agents from carrying out, their orders and executing the law. And Esau got this weird, it's just so weird. Like, what is this nigga doing? Like a gay, like a naked bike ride to protest ICE. Like, what is this nigga doing? The costumes, like, what is Esau doing, man? See, now, you watch those dystopian movies, and this is what America's turning into, man. You watch that first Joker movie, all right? This is what America is becoming. Now the dystopian, all right, weirdo fest, man. You see? But you see this Representative Mike Johnson, what is he saying? He said, no, we're the victims. The ICE agents are the victims. If anything, we need more support. We need more force. So we can execute and carry out the law. So this is what these devils are pushing. They're playing the victim. The American government is playing the victim against the American citizens. And when Esau plays the victim against you, you finna be the victim.
The Trump administration's attacks on Antifa are ungrounded in fact and law and violate free speech rights. For more, we're joined by someone who knows a lot about all of this. Mark Bray is a Rutgers.
And I'm going to fast forward real quick. I just want to get one more point out of this. All right. Supposedly this guy was, harassed, for being, all right, anti-fascist. So let's play this real quick because he makes a point of what they're getting ready to do. Then we're going to get a little clip of history as well.
Administration will take the, quote, same approach to Antifa as it has to drug cartels it's bombed in the Caribbean. The latest bombing, I think, took place yesterday, killing a number of people. Even Republican politicians behind closed doors are saying, where is the evidence for who these people are who've been killed by the U.S. bombs? Mark Bray, your response to Pam Bondi.
Right. Well, the paradox of fascism is that while it's trying to gain power, it talks about the need for law and order. And to the degree that it gains power, it tramples all over the law. It does not care about the law or legality, due process, civil liberties. And so this kind of call to murder people in this country without, of course, even having gone through any due process, not that I'm in favor of capital punishment anyway, but that's another story. It is this kind of example of calling for the strong man in Trump to use deadly force without any evidence against people accused of made-up crimes that are being equated with, you know, at times some of the Trump administration people have compared it to Antifa, to ISIS, to Antifa, right? So to me, it's really this kind of fascist attack on civil liberties. And if they're equating protesters with Antifa, and they're saying that they're going to use the methods used for the people in the boats in the Caribbean on Antifa, the implication is they are ready to kill American protesters. And you know, we know the history of Kent State.
They're getting ready to kill American protesters, man. Okay? The devil is taking this thing to another phase. Okay? When we read these scriptures, he should come down with great wrath. He should be like a madman, sparing none. We're coming into that time. Okay? This is real. See, now the rubber is meeting the road when it comes to certain prophecies, man. Okay? Now he talked about Kent State, so I had looked it up real quick, you know, and I put these videos in the chat. All right, you brothers can go, all right, and dissect them, you know, more. All right, if you want to tap into that. So let's go here, all right, because what happened at Kent State, you know? All right, so I looked up Kent State students gunned down. Okay, it says an AI overview. All right, it says in the 1970s on May 4th, all right, 1974, Kent State University students were killed and 9 others were wounded when the Ohio State National Guard opened fire on anti-Vietnam War protesters. The students who died were Allison Cross, Jeffrey Miller, Sandra Schur, all right, and William, all right, Schroeder. The tragic event occurred during a protest against the Vietnam War. It says May 4th, 1970, said the Ohio National Guard shot an unarmed, okay, protesters at Kent State University. All right. Now, what is a university? That's a quasi-public. Even though it's a private institution, it's quasi-public and is under the jurisdiction of government law enforcement. Okay, if they're dispatched, okay, from their superiors. Okay, so these National Guards were able to go to Kent State and shoot and kill 4 unarmed protesters because they was protesting against the Vietnam War. Students were killed and 9 were wounded, so they were spraying in the crowd. Okay, it says the protest was against the Vietnam War. All right, the National Guard had been called to campus due to civil unrest and ordered, okay, the demonstrators to disperse before opening fire. The event is pivotal moment in American history and is commemorated annual, man. This was in the 70s, man. Okay, so we're seeing, all right, history repeat itself, man. Except this time it's going to spiral into a civil war. Okay, it's going to spiral to civil unrest. Okay, so let's go from there. I got another video. Let's see which one next. Oh yeah, Yasha Wamba. Okay, his latest. Let me see. I think this one's it. Okay, and these devils. Okay, one thing they've mastered. Okay, is playing the victim. Okay, to justify force. Okay, so this you're gonna have simpletons. Okay, that's right there with what the government wants to do. So this is the brother of Mar, all right, Cabal. Proverbs 14:15 says the simple believe every word, but the prudent man look well to his going. Okay, so you're gonna have, all right, the simple, okay, that buy the propaganda, okay, and prepare for when this devil pushes heavy propaganda against the prophets, all right, that these people are going to believe these lies, man. Okay, it's one thing to be lied upon, all right, but have the masses believe those lies, man. It's gonna be a completely different thing, you know. So hey, we have to meditate on these things, prepare our minds for these things, man. okay? Because it's gonna come a day when, they're gonna make us, all right, the target, okay, propaganda, okay, on the level that we've never seen, okay? Because the end game, the devils want to remove the prophets because they know this is the source of them being exposed, okay, in the earth, man. Okay, so let's let's jump around in this one a little bit. All right.
This is the problem on the earth right here. And they're not going to stop. It's going to continuously be this, that, pointing the finger at this. There's always going to be a new boogeyman until you look up, okay, and there's a robot bot chasing your ass down the street.
In numbers, Secretary Noem, ever since that terror attack we saw in Dallas, she's been hardening our ICE facilities. President Trump has called in the National Guard a very prescient and great, strong leadership we've seen from the President of the United States. But I mean, we are seeing a coordinated, highly organized waging of war on our law enforcement on the streets of Chicago. These men and women are simply enforcing the rule of law and doing their job. And yet there's these foreign terrorist networks who are going after them. They're using it.
They're going after ICE. They're putting bounties on particular officials in ICE and the Border Patrol. So what does this mean? Okay, well now, okay, y'all want to play those type of games. Well, hey, we're getting ready to. We'll wage even more war. Oh, you think you as a what's that weirdo name? You have nothing. You think you're hard. We're hard. We're more hardcore than you can ever be. They're creating this narrative that what they're going to say is Jake is fighting back. You have the mayor in Chicago talking about it's going to be a civil war. Right? I forget his name. Chicago mayor warns violent racial civil wars coming to America. You see that? So Jake is being
and these dudes are propped up, the Democrats, the Republicans. Okay, they play against each other for the agenda of the elites because the elites want Jake, okay, to fight back. They want American citizens to fight back. They're doing this to cause, okay, civil unrest. This is what they do. What we're seeing is America being destabilized. This is what they do to governments throughout the earth when they want to bring in regime change, when they want to bring in a new government, when they want to bring in, American policies, and they destabilize a region, okay, for their agendas. Okay, in Gaza, they destroyed Gaza because they had development ideas in Gaza. Okay, they want to turn Gaza to a Mediterranean, okay, oasis for Esau. Okay, so they waged this war. They caused, all right, October 7th. They allowed that to happen. All right, for the excuse, okay, to turn Gaza into rubble. Okay, they made Hamas the boogeyman. Okay, and they went in with force. You see? So the same destabilization tactics that they use abroad, we're seeing it play out here real time in America, man. Okay, and the boogeyman is the American citizens, especially the tribes. Okay, and for long the prophets. Okay, so let's let it play.
into the slaughter.
I know you're going to talk about the Texas Guard, Illinois Guard. Can you give us a little bit about what your next steps could be to fight that?
Well, look, our corporate counsel has been in constant communication with our attorney general for several months now. And I just wanted to offer this up. A couple of years ago, I said very candidly that the right wing in this country wants a rematch of the Civil War. I want that to sit in right now because the president of the United States of America has declared war on the people of Chicago and people across America.
That's right.
He's more interested in giving billions of dollars to other nations while farmers in urban cities around this country are literally being destabilized. And so whether it's the legal system, whether it's through executive order, or whether it's through the brave women and men who are serving as rapid responders, we literally have people who are volunteering in this city on the southwest side, the northwest side, all over this city to make sure that we're protecting children from being separated from their families. And we're talking about volunteers who are literally putting themselves at risk of being shot and killed by the federal government. And so, whether it's the legal system, whether it's our continuous struggle for liberation through organizing, and whether it's through executive action or whether it's through law, it would be nice if we actually had lawmakers in Washington that would actually hold this president accountable. And if they won't do it, then the city of Chicago will, using every single tool that's available to us.
So they can use this as a declaration of war. And they can label you Antifa, which is anti-fascism, as we were going into. Okay?
So what he doing is hyping Jacob, okay, or people up to fight back because he said Chicago is going to use all his resources to fight against, okay, the federal government, man. And this is what they want. They want these states to rebel against the federal, okay? And what you're going to see, you're going to start to see in America is mutiny, okay? From American military, you're going to see law enforcement, all right, local enforcement class, okay? And you're going to see, all right, these militias and, you know, all these random groups emerge out of nowhere, all right? Mercenaries going to pop up armed to the teeth, okay? And there's going to be complete civil unrest, man. Okay, so we're walking into this, man, running into this, man. Okay, let's go here. And where is Trump in all this? What does he want to do as a response to all this that we see? So let's forward a little more. All right, let's see what this devil has to say.
I'm standing in your way here. Is it held up?
Well, the lower portion.
Insurrection Act?
The lower, well, I could use it if I wanted to. I could use it. Look, that's a very simple answer. I'm allowed to use the Insurrection Act. In fact, that was on Stephanopoulos today, his Sloppodopoulos show. They asked Sloppy Chris Christie about the Insurrection Act. He said, well, if you're talking about the Insurrection Act, he's got the absolute right to use that. And he said a couple of things. He said 50% of the presidents that served in office have used the Insurrection Act. And the Insurrection Act, according to all of them, said it can't even be challenged. I don't have to go there yet because I'm winning on appeal. You know, you're right. We're losing with radical left.
All right, you even have talks by blue states. All right, talks of secession. All right, basically certain blue states, and we're getting ready to separate from this thing called the United States. All right, talks of secession by blue states rise as incidents of violent civil conflict become more common in major U.S. cities. Okay, so there's talk of a secession, just like during the Civil War. So a civil war is brewing. See? And again, it's being funded by both sides.
Hmm. Yeah, so lucky it threw me out, you know. Should be good now. Y'all let me know if the sound good. All right, so I want to go here, because in Trump, you know, he enacts the Insurrection Act. All right, that's going to give him, total control. All right, of how to dispatch troops, to these different, states. Okay, so when you go to all right, because you had the devil Stephen Miller. All right, and he said Trump has plenary power to do what he needs to do. So you go into plenary power. It says plenary power is a complete, comprehensive, and unqualified authority over a specific subject matter. It means that an official or body has full legal capacity to act without needing further approval or delegation within the scope of their constitutional and legal limits. Example includes the U.S. Congress authorities over Indian affairs, its powers to regulate pardons. Okay. So what we're about to see, okay, is Trump eventually is going to enact the Insurrection Act. Okay. Thus said, all right, the scriptures, man. Okay. The scriptures speak about what? Insurrection. Brother can post that in the chat. All right, in Second Ezra, the 15th chapter. They want, all right, to play the victim. Okay, so they can enact, okay, these certain all right, okay, empowers, okay, to wage war on America, man. Okay, to wage war on America, man. This is what these devils are at, man. They right here at the doorstep of this. Okay. So I got one more video. This was done by El Apostle Tahar. All right. Said they should be like madmen. Okay, sparing none. Okay. So Chicago is a hot spot, and I'm seeing them, use Chicago, okay, as the grounds that's going to throw this thing into civil war. Chicago, Portland, all right, one of these cities, but just looking at it, there's a lot of emphasis on Chicago and ICE, which there's a bunch of northern and southern kingdom in Chicago. Okay. So Chicago has been that hotbed, all right, and you're seeing, okay, the northern tribes, okay, becoming rebellious, okay, against ICE, all right, and whether this is, authentic, organic rebellion, or, all right, is agent provocateur, well, eventually, okay, it's going to set off prophecy, okay, which is civil unrest, man. Okay, so let's play this. All right.
Yeah, Micah and Ray, and the area is quiet now, but hours ago it was filled with emotion and anger. Community members say that they came out immediately to defend their community and to also send a message to federal agents that they will not be intimidated. Surveillance video from a neighbor's home captured the moment a federal chase spilled into the streets of Chicago's East Side neighborhood, ending in a crash near 105th Street and Avenue N late Tuesday morning. What started as a pursuit quickly escalated into a tense and emotional scene.
I'm not going to sit here and not do nothing about it.
Within minutes, Skycam 9 was overhead, showing a large crowd surrounding federal agents, shouting questions, recording with their phones, and demanding answers about what had happened. Video from the Citizen app also shows the standoff between federal agents and community members. According to CPD, officers and supervisors realized federal authorities were involved. Police say they attempted to de-escalate tensions, but objects were thrown at the agents, prompting the deployment of tear gas.
As the tear gases were throwing toward the community members, we all ran and they had attacked two people that I know because they were the closest near them. So they attacked them and put them into custody.
Destiny, who requested to keep her identity hidden, says the people who were detained are U.S. citizens ages 16 and 19 and that they did not throw anything.
I got a phone call from work saying that they took my son. He's only 16.
Juanita Garnica, visibly shaken, saying through tears that she had been at work when she got the news that Border Patrol agents had taken her son.
They just told me, Juanita, you have an emergency. ICE took your son. They beat him up, they body slammed him, and they took your son.
City officials and immigration attorneys arrived in the aftermath of the incidents and say the response by federal agents was excessive.
The judges made it very clear last week that this kind of conduct is unacceptable.
There's absolutely no reason to have this kind of chaos happening in our communities, putting people at risk, putting people in harm's way.
According to DHS, agents chased the vehicle and used a pit maneuver to stop it. They say two people inside tried to run but were eventually caught and taken into custody. DHS says in part, quote, "This incident is not isolated and reflects a growing and dangerous trend of illegal aliens violently resisting arrests and agitators and criminals ramming cars into our law enforcement officers." Now, CPD says that 13 officers were also exposed to the tear gas, while DHS did say that the two undocumented people involved in the...
So you had Chicago police officers. They got caught up in that tear gas that came from ICE. You see? Because local police department, they were dispatched. Okay? But they tried to quell the situation, but see, they're limited. Okay? Because they can't interfere with federal, okay, officers. The federal officers have superiority over the local officers, according to the Constitution. Okay, so that's what now, okay, these ICE agents are being sent out and causing uproars, and then local law enforcement is dispatched. All right, you best believe it's going to come a time where it's going to be a clash between these local law enforcement and these ICE agents, man. Okay, everything is the atmosphere for civil unrest, okay, for civil war, okay, for, all right, America to be destabilized, all these things, all the ingredients needed, okay, is in the pot, okay, and the pot is being stirred, okay, so let's play this some more.
The crash were arrested. They did not say where they were being held or if and how many people were also detained. We're live in the East Side. Andrea Medina, WGN News.
Andrea, more about the Chicago police officers. We saw them there, as you said, they were affected.
Well, they got to stand back because it's federal. Takes, pushes them out of the way. So let me come back over here. This is the second part of the title.
He's back.
Give me a second.
And you need to prepare yourself for this, because this is what it's going to look like.
So before we get into that, let's go here real quick to Second Esdras, the 15th chapter. Okay, because we, bringing this out for years and years. Okay, but now we're seeing it real time. All right. This is 2nd Esdras 15 and 14. It said, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. Okay, and this is where we at. Okay, one people fighting against another, and it's bigger than Jacob and Esau. Okay, you're gonna have federal agents fighting against local agents. You're gonna have militias fighting against other militias. You're gonna have civilians fighting against everybody, fighting against each other. Okay, it's just gonna be a chaotic, violent situation. Okay, in America, man. It said, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions, all right, shall stand in their power, man. Okay, so it's going to be, okay, a time, okay, of lawlessness in America, man. Okay, and the sword, the gun is going to be the law. Violence is going to be the law. Okay, it says a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, for, all right, was your martial law, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, man, because we're coming into some horrific times. It's going to be the worst time ever, man. Okay, and what makes it's going to be so bad in America? Because why? America is the most armed, all right, country, okay, in the world. Okay, with the most bugged out people. You see? So this is going to be a very chaotic, violent environment in America, man. And this is where things are trending towards. Okay? So then you have that, but then also the digital side of it, which this guy here, the second video, Elder Pastor Har, okay, he's going to be getting ready to play. All right. So now he's going to go into, what's happening in China, which America, okay, which China is ahead of everyone as far as New World Order society. It's a surveillance state. Okay. It's on the social credit score. All right. It's more digitized than, other governments. And the elites have used China as, the prototype for what they want to do globally. Okay. So let's let this play. All right. And see, these things are coming to America, man. Okay. Like I say, it's finna change. Hey, it's finna change here, man. Okay. Coming soon.
It's already happening in other countries. It's called being blacklisted.
This is what's currently happening in China, and you might be saying, well, that's...
Let me bring that back.
It's already happening in other countries. It's called being blacklisted.
Sorry?
Happening in other countries. It's called being blacklisted.
Okay, the path to digital identity in the United States. It's first it's going to start with cards, then it's going to eventually be put into you, called biometrics. I've been talking about that. I'm not going to give you a whole bunch of articles, but this is one article of many. The path to digital identity in the United States, ultimately leading to the mark of the beast, the microchip. So China is under that digital system, and the ones that well, let me just let it go ahead and play.
This is what's currently happening in China, and you might be saying, well, that's China. It wouldn't happen in the United States or the United Kingdom.
Oh, China is a model.
But China, United States, United Kingdom, all these countries that might look like enemies and different on TV are all saying the same exact thing at the World Economic Forum.
Broke. They got deleted. In China, tens of thousands of young...
Doesn't mean they're dead. That means they got deleted from the system.
People are suddenly homeless, not because of money, but because the system erased them.
Imagine a society where everything you do, everything you say, and everything you buy is controlled and evaluated by the authorities. This is what the Chinese Communist Party calls social credit.
Right, so that's coming to America. And that whole chip thing, it's going to be, it's also a form of a social system. So not only do you have to take the chip, but you got to do everything right. Cameras going to be everywhere. And China is just a model to what they're going to do to the rest of the world. So this is when we're going to find out who's the elect or not. Then it shall be known who am I chosen, or who am I an elect.
This is what the Chinese Communist Party calls social credit.
By using the mechanism of social credit, we'll be able to establish a blacklist of people and create a system of punishment that will be based on a scientific theory. These punishments will serve as a whip to rebuild moral values. Our society needs it.
The country's social
He said it's going to be a whip. These punishments, okay, with this social credit score system. And right now, China use it as a digital ID, okay, to where, all right, matter of fact, let's get it. I'm going to play a little bit, then we're going to go into it. But the fact that he said it's going to be used as a punishment, man, okay, and you're being, and everyone's being conditioned for that now. That's why, YouTube has started giving strikes. There was a form of punishment for not speaking things approved by the government, okay, no matter if they was truth or not. Okay, you had council culture in America. There was conditioning people, all right, to be punished, okay, for speaking the wrong thing. And you had people cheering for people to be counseled over here in America. Okay, not understanding you were cheering for a social credit system, which is going to begin with a digital ID and it's going to end with the CHIP. Okay, to where they can blacklist you, which shuts you out. They can lock you out of participate in society. Okay, if you're not in compliance, okay, with the status quo. You see? Well, let's let it play a little more.
credit system decides who's trustworthy. But if you're blacklisted, it's game over. Your WeChat Pay stops working. You can't receive your salary, can't buy food, can't even book a train ticket. It's like being alive, but digitally. Many are now sleeping in the streets, cut off from everything. Jobs, housing, even communication. All because one app, one algorithm decided they don't belong.
It's not science for shaming. Photo galleries of blacklisted citizens. There's even an app that shows who around you is in debt.
They're not criminals. They didn't steal, cheat, or harm anyone. They just fell too low on a score and vanished from the digital world. Critics say it's a glimpse into the future where technology doesn't just track your life, it controls it. So ask yourself, if your entire life depended on your digital reputation, how long before you
make saying no to the vaccine?
Yeah, man. So this is what these devils, all right, plan on rolling out globally. Okay. So when you go to just look quick AI overview, does China have a digital system, digital ID system? All right. It says yes, China has a digital ID system called the National Network Identity Authentication, which requires citizens to use an app to link their real name and facial scan. All right, and that's why they push, the selfie so much on social media. All right, you're training AI to recognize faces. Okay, they said which requires citizens to use an app to link their real name and facial scan to unique, digital ID code for online services. This system centralizes online identity verification and allows users to access different platforms without re-entering credentials, while also increasing government control and surveillance capabilities. Okay, this is the system that these devils is getting ready to roll out, and China is ahead of the curve. Okay, as a testing ground, as a model, as El Apostle Har went into. It said how it works. Registration. Citizens must register for an internet ID through a government app, providing their national ID and facial scan. Upon successful registration, the system issues a unique internet code, a string of letters and digits, an internet certificate, It says this code is used to log into various websites and apps such as WeChat and Taboo, and platforms are then required to use digital ID for verification instead of collecting the user's personal identity information separately. Okay, so this system, okay, is already in progress in China. Okay, and then they have what? They're mandating, okay, one in the UK, and it's gonna work its way over here. Okay, to now you have to identify the login. Okay, and guess what? The identity is linked to your bank account. So if you say, instead of you just getting a strike to where your channel is taken down and your video taken down, well, look, we're going to freeze your assets this month. Okay, you can't travel. You know, that vacation you had planned, nah, cancel that. Okay, this is the system that this devil wants to bring. You're anti-Trump, you Antifa, you're labeled Antifa. No, cut him off. Okay, cut her off, cut them off. Okay, so we're coming into a whole different time in prophecy, man. Okay, and that's why. Let's go here. Let's get a couple of precepts. Let's get this second Ezra 16. Okay. Second Ezra 16, it started 37. You know, it's the book of Second Ezra, chapter 16, verse 37 said, "Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack." Okay, these things are increasing, man. Okay, everything is speeding up. Prophecy is speeding up, man. The civil unrest, okay, is brewing. It says when a woman with child in the 9th month bringing forth her son, all right, with 2 or 3 hours of her, all right, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pain when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side, man. And we're seeing that build up. This is gonna be a horrific time, man. All these things happening at the same time. Okay, and it's all for this devil, you know, to usher in his new world order. But before he ushers in the new world, he has to burn down and dismantle the old world. Okay, and it's gonna be very violent, man. It's gonna be very chaotic. Okay, verse 40, "Oh my people, hear my word, make you ready to the battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth," man. As you know, we don't stand a chance on no social credit system, man. We out of there. Okay, you know, we're gonna get cut off from every goddamn thing. You see, and this is what we're preparing, okay, to endure. All right, but we're promised provisions. You see, and we're going to be tested to see if we believe on the provisions that the Lord has promised, man. It said, "He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose. He that occupy merchandise as he that have no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein. He that soweth as if he should not reap. So also he that planted the vineyard, all right, as he that shall not gather the grapes. They that marry as they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers, man." Okay, so all the things that we have going in this society, man, there's gonna come a time where we're gonna be cut off from these things, man. Okay, and we're just gonna have to trust in Yahweh Bashim Shai. Okay, and we can't tell you no bulletin point plan of what we're gonna do. We're gonna trust in the Lord. Okay, it says, "And therefore they that labor in vain." Yeah, everybody talking about chasing the bag and being an entrepreneur and generational wealth. Well, look, when they bring this new system in, hey, everybody is finna get a financial reset. Okay, that status that you had in the old world, that's finna go away. Okay, and this is why the Lord has us, you know, being separated from these times. now, man, separated from these things now. Okay, we should meditate and already have our minds prepped to lose everything. Okay, but we finna gain everything. That's the trade-off. Okay, this is 2nd Ezra 16-70. It said, "For there shall be in every place in the next city a great insurrection." Okay, and Trump is telling you, look, the Insurrection Act is on the table. Okay, if it get to the point where I need to do this, we're gonna tap into that. Okay, so this is what the devil is on: a great insurrection upon those that fear the Lord. Okay, and ultimately they're speaking of all of Jake, man, because it's in Jake's spirit to have a reverence. Okay, for the Lord, man, even though they don't have the knowledge. All right, Jake has that natural zeal. Okay, and our people are enchanted, so they're majority of our people are not their natural selves. Okay, but even in the in the worst situation, there's some type of reverence, to a higher power. You see, so this devil, all right, is the main purpose of insurrection. This is Esau's opportunity to get off on the tribes. He's gonna run through a lot of Americans as well. These Edomites, they finna catch it too. Okay, but this is his time where he gets a free, kill on the tribes, man. This is how he's looking at it. Okay, he said they should be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear the Lord. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. All right, and ICE is showing you see how ICE is trending towards their way. Okay, these ICE agents, which they're like the new KKK. They in the spirit of madmen. Okay, and it's just going to increase. Wait till the Insurrection Act is enacted, man, and they bring out more troops. It's just the beginning. Okay, so for they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as gold in the fire. See, this is when, all right, the elect are going to be tried, and it's going to be shown that the Lord is dealing. Because the Lord speaks about how we're going to be in a good case, man. You see, this judgment, this tribulation is for the wicked. Okay, 2/3. All right, these heathen, these proud Americans, see, the tribulation is a punishment for them, and we're going to be uncomfortable, and we're going to lose things on this side. But see, we're finna gain. Well, we finna receive mercy, and the Lord's finna show favor, man. Okay, but we have to go through the straight gate. Okay, you have to have the mindset to leave this world behind. Okay, verse 74 says, "Hear, O ye my beloved." All right, and these are the words of comfort in these times, man. Said the Lord, "Behold, the days of trouble are at hand," Jacob trouble, "but I will deliver you from the same," which is the remnant. "Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your guide." Okay, so we're going to be guided through this, man. We're going to be hedged. Okay, we're not just be out there finished, destitute. Okay, the Lord gonna make a way. You see, He gonna show power. It's gonna be known that, hey, this is the remnant. Okay, so yeah, we coming into some dangerous, beautiful times. Okay, and may Yahweh Bashim Al Shai have mercy, upon His elect. Okay, so yeah, we can get this one, brother. Got a good one. This is Psalms 55:22. It says, "Cast thy burden." All right, it's the brother Kazak Bun Yahweh. It said, "Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and He shall sustain thee." Man, we're going to be sustained through these times, man. Okay, our power is a present help in trouble. Okay, so the Lord, He's going to show His power. Okay, on how He keeps us in these times. Okay, and it says that He shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved, man. All right, and these devils don't have jurisdiction, over the elect. Okay, the Lord's gonna give him, authority over 2/3, but he has no jurisdiction over the elect. Okay, and when he, gets bold enough to make a move towards the elect, all right, prepare, all right, for power to be shown and prepare to see miracles in these times, man. Okay, so there was a point, just want to get into that. All right, another morning news and prophecy. All right, so Lord will you brothers, all right, and you sisters edified once again. I want to give all praise and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushua, Bahashem, Kakodash, and double honors unto the apostles and the elders of GMS who rule well, teach well, being great examples towards younger brothers, and peace and blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. Shalom.